Hey, this is Lucky Yates.
Hey there, this is Jimmy Simpson.
Hello, this is Brad Sherwood.
Hi, this is Claire Coffey.
This is Andy Daly. Hey there, this is Kevin Durant.
Hi, I'm Chris Parnell.
Hey, this is TJ Fine.
Hey y'all, this is David Hoffman. You are listening to Next Level Radio. Have fun.
It's time for the Showcast. And now, here they are, those pop culture junkies and your hosts, Ben Beck, Adam Gorey, and Steve Richards.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Showcast Spotlight here on the Next Level Network. I'm your host for this edition, Ben Beck, joined by my co-host, Adam Gorey, and our guest this week is someone who has been part of the ABC family for the past 5, now going on to her 6th year, which is always an impressive run when it comes to network television. She plays Mandy Baxter, and who is no joke, one of my favorite characters on one of my favorite shows. Not saying this just because she's on the line. It's very, very true. One of my favorite shows, Last Man Standing, which just aired its season 6 premiere. Please welcome Molly Ephraim. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No joke, I have watched this show since episode 1. I've watched since the beginning, and your character very quickly became one of my favorites just because I laugh so much when with some of the stuff that Mandy does.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's not like me in real life, but it's great to be able to turn on sort of like the bobblehead, and and I get to wear pretty clothes, and they do my makeup and my hair all cute. So it's a nice departure from me in my regular life.
Yeah, that was actually something I was going to ask, too, as part of this is, you know, Mandy is obviously a little ditzy. She's very diva-esque at times. But I know I followed you on Twitter for the past couple seasons as well, and I know just from your Twitter account and your postings, you're very funny, and you're so far from Mandy.
Yes.
But how much of your real character do you think actually finds its way into Mandy when you're on screen?
I like to be silly and self-deprecating, and I think that there's some of that in Mandy. Look, you know, she's not written to be sort of the sharpest tool in the shed, but I think that I never wanted to be disparaging about her or her intelligence or lack thereof, so I think I like to inject sort of a wink and a nod when I'm doing a dumb bit, because I think she knows that she's saying something that's sort of ditzy or stupid. Sometimes maybe not. But yeah, I think there's a certain intelligence, and I notice that in girlfriends of mine sometimes. You can, like, you know, say something that sounds a little dumb, but actually you know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. And I think she's one of those gals, and she's secretly a genius.
Yeah, and she's certainly found herself a partner in Kyle that's very similar.
Yeah. Well, what's
sure.
funny, too, is I feel like, you know, before Mandy and Kyle really made it official, I think Mandy's kind of dumbed him down in the relationship. You know, one person, they always talk about like a straight man when you're, you know, in a comedy, somebody's sort of the jokester and somebody's the straight man. And we get to do that for each other, Christoph and I. But yeah, sometimes he gets some real dumb ones in there. Yeah. Oh my God, he's so cute though. You can't help it.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because
perfect delivery.
You say that like you almost like Mandy almost kind of dumps him down a little bit. Is that really possible with Kyle? I don't really know for sure.
No, I don't know. I think what's so fabulous about Christoph and the way that he plays this guy is that he is 800% earnest in everything that he does and says. Like, you could not find a purer heart out there than Kyle. Yeah. So, you know, it's like you love everything that comes out of his mouth. And Christoph is, in my mind, like just a total comedic genius. I can't stop laughing every time I'm working with them.
Yeah, and it's funny. You look at the personality of both Mandy and Kyle, and you know, from the very beginning of the show, Mandy and Kyle didn't end up together, I think, until around season 4, was it? They actually ended up together?
Yeah, maybe 3, 4.
Might have been around
I don't know. It's been a while.
but you look at these two characters, and from the very beginning, you don't realize how destined for each other they really are. how perfect they are for each other since the beginning.
Exactly. Just birds of a feather.
Yeah. So the last time we saw your character in season 5, Mandy was moving forward with her fashion business. She was planning her marriage with Kyle. And now I think the way the season ended, there are plans for both of you to move in back with your parents. What kind of things do you think we can plan to see now out of Mandy for the coming season?
Well, what's funny is we get this question a lot, and we're not sort of beating around the bush or being facetious or anything. We really don't know. I genuinely don't know. I cannot say with any certainty what will happen for Mandy this year. I'm pretty sure she'll be getting married because I think we've set that one up.
Yeah.
And that's not like a spoiler alert. That's like we've been paving the way for that. But as far as the scripts go and where the season is headed, we as the actors don't get to know that until like the night before we start working on it, really. So in a small way, I mean, of course, we're shooting the episodes and then they're airing a couple weeks after, so we know more than you do as viewers. But in a small way, we're also kind of along for the ride, finding out what's happening up with these characters and where they're headed.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the show's, everybody who's seen Home Improvement from back in, I guess it was the 90s, the show obviously has a somewhat comparable type of kind of storyline to it, but I know you're about the same age I am, and I remember my parents always watching Home Improvement when I was younger and everything like that, and obviously that's part of the draw for the show with Tim Allen, this being like his, I don't know, when it first came out, I don't know that, when I first saw it, I didn't expect it to be as successful as it is, and it's great to see. So were you kind of a fan of Home Improvement growing up as well, or did you not really get to check it out too much?
So funnily enough, I had never seen an episode until we started shooting Last Man. My brother and I did not watch a lot of TV growing up. We were not allowed to, not like in a strict off-the-grid kind of a way, more like in a Sesame Street PBS only kind of a way, and kind of limited TV viewing. So, yeah, as a result, like I'm missing a lot of pop culture references from the 80s and 90s, Home Improvement being among them. So I have a ton of girlfriends that are madly in love with JTT, and we're just chomping at the bit to come and see him in episodes of our show and, like, dying to be introduced. So I was like, yeah, sure, he's a sweet guy. So the Home Improvement stuff, like, just doesn't land for me, but it's pretty funny that, in a lot of ways now I'm a part of this show that has that same kind of appeal and comfort and, like, good homey family feelings as Home Improvement did. So it's fun for me to get to be a part of that zeitgeisty thing,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost like the Home Improvement of this generation, and you are actually, funny enough, mentioning JTT. You're kind of like the JTT of this generation. You're the middle one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I feel like on the one episode that I saw, I was like, oh, little JTT, he was like such a little smartass, and I am not doing that. But yeah, I'm in the middle slot.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, maybe part of the reason, growing up, you didn't get a chance to watch too much of it. I know you were big into in the theater growing up, and I know having that background, it kind of gives you a little bit of room to do a lot of different type of work. And I know you did, before you hopped on with Last Man Standing, you did the second Paranormal Activity movie, and then obviously you did the marked ones, I think, about 3 or 4 years after that. I'm kind of curious, when you did the first one, was there any kind of different approach you took going into the marked ones after you've kind of had a show like Last Man Standing under your belt for a few years, and doing that kind of work for a while? Did you take any different approach between the two?
No, I don't think so. What was funny about the Paranormal 2 is it was largely improvised. It was the first sort of sequel in that series. And so they were trying to come up with a way to make something seem as naturalistic as the first one, but also have kind of a plot line that followed through. So it was really sort of experimental filmmaking in a Paramount movie, which I now have come to understand is pretty rare and weird. But in a lot of ways was theatrical because we had cameras that were mounted, so you didn't have to worry about, duplicating any kind of performance or getting another shot from another angle or whatever. For the marked ones, it was definitely more scripted, although Chris Landon, the writer of that one, is a good buddy of mine and said, just kind of feel it out. I'm playing the same character. So, I was sort of back to just give some background information on ghosts and the research that my character has done. It was mostly just a blast for me to come in for a day and see the crew and the people who worked on our movie, because all the paranormal movies essentially had the same crew throughout.
Okay.
So it was nice to connect with them.
Okay. I know we're running a little short on time with you, but I know we've talked a little bit about your upbringing in the theater and such, and you mentioned not being, not watching TV and such. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. We are actually in the Philadelphia area, which is where you are from.
Whoa! Yeah, from Bucks County.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm down in Delaware County. Adam is in
Lehigh County.
Lehigh County, that's what I thought.
Oh, cool.
You obviously, you live out in LA now due to the shooting of Last Man Standing and such. Do you make it back here to the Philly area often?
I do, yeah. My brother lives in Philly. My folks are still in PA. So I get back a fair amount. And my mom for years is like, I don't want to deal with East Coast winters anymore. And every year we have a steep driveway at my parents' house, and every year they get snowed in, and there's no power, and my mom's just like cursing herself out, living in 50 degrees inside the house. I'm like, just come to LA. I live here now. Come on out. But yeah, I do like to go home and see everybody and sort of be in the middle of nature. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Are you the Bucks County down like by Levittown or up by like Quakertown or middle like Doylestown?
More like Doylestown.
Oh, okay.
County area. Mm-hmm.
So the East Coast winters out here are rough, and right now we're getting ready to hit like an Indian summer because we're going to be into like the warm temperatures through December, which I don't like. I like the winter temperatures around the holidays, so it kind of sucks.
I know. I miss it in theory, and then when I come back for Thanksgiving or Christmas breaks or something, I'm like, oh, it's so nice, and then I just hit that mark. I'm like, I don't want to be wet anymore. I don't need this slush. This is ridiculous.
You can only miss it for so long.
Exactly.
So, but obviously we want to send people to check out Last Man Standing. It's Fridays at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. Your Season 6 premiere just debuted. You just premiered last night when our listeners are starting to listen to this. And I'm looking forward to another great season. Adam brought up Home Improvement earlier on, and it's funny because when the show first started and I heard the premise of it, I was calling it Home Improvement 2.0. Same premise, 3 daughters instead of 3 sons, outdoorsman instead of a handyman. But the show has really, in the time that it's been on, has really grown to have its own identity, and it's separated itself from Home Improvement, which I'm actually very happy to have seen, and which is why, while Home Improvement was one of my favorite sitcoms, Last Man Standing is too, and while there are some similarities, it's definitely different, and I still enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this 6th season brings.
Yeah, it's catching up, too.
Thanks.
Catching up to the same number of seasons, so that's great to see.
Yeah, Home Improvement.
I know. It's pretty wild. I mean, pun intended, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think that Tim kind of knew that about, like, you know what, this premise works. And he wanted, with the vlogs, he always wanted a part of the show where he could kind of break that fourth wall. Yeah. I of course the comparisons roll in, but on the other hand, we're on a show for 6 seasons, and in this day and age, it's sort of rare. So it's great that people have connected with this thing and felt like, oh, that reminds me of this other show that I used to watch and really love.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, it just came to my head, and I know we gotta let you go. But
okay,
I'm a huge fan of Tim's. I have to imagine that's just got to be a fun experience.
It is. He's a crazy person. He it takes a lot to get him to settle down and work on the scene because he just wants to play around and goof off and do his own bits. Often they are more blue than would be allowed on an ABC TV show, blue being, a little off color. But it's a blast. He's fantastic and very gracious, and we're all so happy and lucky to work with the guy.
Anybody ever ask him to do any Buzz Lightyear lines while you're on set?
Oh, absolutely. Me, all the time.
There you go.
I think I asked him before if he would do my outgoing message as Buzz, and I still have to follow up on that.
There you go.
Because I think that'd be fun,
That'd be awesome. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
But we're going to send people your way on Twitter, at Molly Ephraim on Twitter, and of course, at Last Man ABC, which is the Twitter account for Last Man Standing. We encourage our listeners to follow both. As we mentioned, Fridays at 8, 7 Central on ABC. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up, this Showcast Spotlight, but we'll be back for another one in just a little bit.